Some bike rides are great bike rides. Others can be truly miserable. Let's face it, we've all been there. But here are 10 things that you can do easily that will maximise your chance of making every ride you do into a great ride. A significant part of having a great ride is having a bit of a swing in your step, good morale. And what better way to make sure of that than by setting off with a clean bike and a clean pair of shoes. And not only that, but a clean bike also works better and feels nicer to ride. Seriously, give it a try.
Make sure that you fix any mechanical issues that you got on your bike on your previous ride. This will prevent things like suddenly realising there's a huge gash in your tyre when you're already 5 minutes late to go and meet your mates, or going up the first climb and suddenly remembering and hearing that you've got a bottom bracket that's creaking like a good one. It's pretty hard to enjoy a ride if you're sat at the side of the road with a broken bike. This next one pretty much goes without saying. After all, I don't know any rider who sets out with the intention of doing their ride on large and busy highways. However, it can be easy to get bored with doing the same old local routes week after week. So every so often, try and look at a local map and try and find some new roads and new territory to ride on. However, it's also not much fun getting lost, so if at all possible, plan your route on your computer beforehand and send it to your Garmin device. This has a number of advantages. First of all, you won't be having to stop all the time looking at directions, you're not going to get lost, you're not going to end up on a big highway, and lastly, and most importantly for me, I know that I'm going to get back to my house having done exactly the distance that I set out to do.
Of course, you can't actually guarantee the weather for your great ride, but what you can do is check the forecast and change your plans accordingly. So for example, if it's raining, then why not just go out for a short, sharp blast? You can go hard so you don't get cold, and you just embrace the fact that you're getting wet. Or if it's windy, you can tailor your ride so that you finish with a tailwind and a spring in your step. And then lastly, if you can only ride for one day at a weekend, well, if you check the forecast, then you can optimize the day that you go out.
We all need energy to ride our bikes, and what that means is consuming calories whilst we're riding. Now, it doesn't have to be sport-specific bars and gels, it could just be some stuff that you pick up from your local grocery store. My personal favourites are things like this: caramel shortbread, flapjacks, but it could also be sandwiches that you make up yourself filled with Nutella or peanut butter or even fruit. It doesn't really matter a great deal, but what does matter is that you know that you're not going to have a great ride if you completely run out of energy and hit the wall.
What do you actually like about riding? Work it out and then try and do more of it. If you're not actually training for anything, then it makes no sense to do stuff that you actually don't enjoy. So, if you like tootling along, smelling the flowers, do it. If you enjoy smashing it up hills and trying to get KOMs, well, just do that. Or if you like big days out in the hills, do that instead. If you like riding with other people, well, that is just great.
Yeah, there are times for group rides and solo rides, but it's nigh on impossible to have a great ride in a group if there's some idiot that's out on there constantly half-wheeling you with a rattling saddlebag, a dry squeaky chain, and constantly telling you how good they are.
Yeah, or were. But we're not telling you to become antisocial here, and far from it, but just do try and minimise your exposure to Berks when out on your bike, or at least have a word with them, tell them to stop half-wheeling you, and that yes, in fact, you have heard that story before.
I might head out on my own today, Si, if you don't mind. Sometimes great rides take a little bit of time, so if it's at all possible, just try not to rush. On the other hand, what we're not trying to say is that if you don't have all day to ride, that you shouldn't go out. After all, generally life does often get in the way. Hour-long rides can actually be really great fun. All you need is a really nice route, a very slight change in attitude. Now personally, back when I was pro, I didn't used to bother putting my kit on unless I was going to do at least 2 hours. But times have changed. And nowadays, I quite like riding to the local pub, which is only 10 minutes away.
Getting too cold very quickly ruins a ride, so you always need to dress correctly. Likewise, getting too hot sucks, as does having jersey pockets full of your arm warmers, leg warmers, hat and overshoes. So you've always got to pay attention to the weather and then dress appropriately. I actually went so far as to buy a thermometer that lived outside my kitchen window, so I always knew what to wear. That's quite geeky though. The final part of having a great ride is feeling smug about it. Let's face it, that's what social media is all about. Instagram, Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah, but you can take it to a whole new level by doing a Garmin live track and making your friends jealous in real time that you're out riding your bike and they're not. However, make sure that if you're not actually supposed to be out riding your bike, you don't send it to the wrong people, so your partner or your boss.
No, if you do make that mistake though, why not click up here and watch GCN's guide to marriage counselling.
That's not out, we haven't done that one. I'm struggling a bit with the script on that.
In that case, click up there and watch GCN's guide to buying the perfect cycling shoes.
Yeah, or down there to see GCN's 5-minute bike wash.
No, and before you go to either of those, do remember, if you haven't already, to subscribe to GCN. That'll help you have a great ride.
How do they do that, sir?
Oh, just click on us.
Okay.
And then have a great ride.